Imagine a life destined for greatness even before it begins, a life with a divine purpose, where strength and faith are constantly tested. This is the story of Samson, a man endowed with extraordinary strength by God, yet who faced an ongoing battle between duty and temptation. In the village of Zorah, Manoah and his wife lead a simple life, yet one filled with hope. Manoah's wife, a righteous and devout woman, eagerly anticipates the blessing of a child. One day, an angel of the Lord appears to her with a message. "You shall conceive and bear a son. He will be a Nazirite, consecrated to God from the womb, and he will begin to deliver Israel from the hands of the Philistines." Samson is born under strict vows, never to cut his hair, avoid wine and strong drinks, and remain pure. These vows symbolize his dedication and separation for the service of God. His supernatural strength is a divine gift, meant to fulfill a greater purpose. However, with great strength come great challenges. Samson falls in love with a Philistine woman in Timnah, a choice that worries his parents, as the Philistines are enemies of Israel. Yet this union is part of a divine plan that Samson does not yet fully understand. Samson's life is marked by a constant battle between his divine purpose and his personal weaknesses. His strength, a gift from God, is also a burden. He is called to be a leader and deliverer, yet his human nature often leads him astray from his path. Picture Samson, young and confident, walking along a solitary path when a wild lion suddenly leaps in front of him. In an instant, he confronts the beast with his bare hands, defeating it in a fierce struggle. The lion's roar falls silent, replaced by the sound of Samson's victory. This moment of raw power becomes an unforgettable memory. Sometime later, passing by the same spot, Samson finds bees making honey in the lion's carcass. The sweet honey, drawn from the site of battle, represents a paradox, something sweet and unexpected emerging from what was once strong and threatening. This event serves as a powerful metaphor for how moments of conflict can yield unforeseen and precious outcomes. During his wedding feast, Samson challenges his guests with a riddle. Out of the eater came something to eat. Out of the strong came something sweet. The tension builds as the guests struggle to solve the mystery. This riddle is not merely a game. It reflects the duality of Samson's life, a life marked by untamed strength and moments of vulnerability. Samson's wedding celebration with the Philistine woman is a grand event, filled with pomp and circumstance. Guests from both sides, Israelites and Philistines, gather to celebrate the union. The atmosphere is charged with anticipation and curiosity, especially surrounding Samson's riddle. Throughout the 7 days of the feast, the guests desperately try to solve the riddle, but to no avail. Frustrated and angered, they turn to Samson's wife, pressuring her to uncover the answer. Fearful, she pleads with Samson to reveal the secret. After much persistence, he finally gives in and shares the meaning of the riddle with her. When the guests present the correct answer, Samson realizes that his wife has betrayed him. The sense of betrayal and the ensuing fury trigger a series of events that spiral into a cycle of vengeance and conflict. What was meant to be a celebration of union becomes the starting point for a path of violence and retribution. The metaphor of the honey in the lion's carcass is rich with significance. It represents the duality of Samson's life, raw strength and the unexpected sweetness that can emerge from the most bitter moments. It serves as a reminder that even in the darkest and most hopeless situations, God can bring forth something good. Imagine the pain of being betrayed by someone you deeply trusted. For Samson, this betrayal came from his Timnite wife, who revealed his riddle to the Philistines after being pressured and threatened by them. The sting of this betrayal ignited a burning fury in Samson, and with his unmatched strength, he sought revenge. He went down to Ashkelon and killed 30 men, taking their garments to pay off the wager lost due to the riddle being revealed. This act of violence was not just retribution, but also a manifestation of Samson's deep sense of justice, though now distorted by his anger. His life, marked by strength and conflict, was beginning to show the first cracks of emotional vulnerability. Samson did not stop there. Feeling humiliated and betrayed, he sought even greater revenge. He captured 300 foxes, tied torches to their tails, and released them into the Philistine fields, burning their crops, vineyards, and olive groves. Picture the scene. A field in flames, a symbol of his relentless fury and his capacity for mass destruction when provoked. But such actions did not go unanswered. The Philistines, enraged by the devastating losses, began plotting their revenge against Samson. This cycle of violence and retaliation was only beginning, and Samson would soon face even greater challenges, both external and internal. Samson's retaliation was just the beginning of a rising spiral of violence. The Philistines, determined to avenge the destruction of their crops, mustered their forces and attacked the Israelites, demanding that Samson be handed over to them. The men of Judah, fearing for the safety of their people, agreed to deliver Samson. Surrounded by 3,000 men of Judah, Samson allowed himself to be bound and handed over to the Philistines. However, when the Philistines came to capture him, the Spirit of the Lord descended upon Samson with great power. With supernatural strength, he broke the ropes binding him as if they were burned flax. This act of brutality and strength reverberated like thunder, leaving an indelible mark on the memory of all who witnessed the scene. Yet this triumph brings no peace. The battle leaves Samson exhausted and thirsty. Crying out to God for help, he experiences a moment of profound vulnerability. God responds by bringing forth water from a rock, renewing his strength. This moment of divine connection not only refreshes his body, but also revitalizes his faith, preparing him for the challenges ahead. As Samson recovers from this monumental battle, another trial looms on the horizon. One that will not be faced with brute strength, but with heart and soul. Shadows of new betrayals and challenges are approaching, promising to test Samson in ways he could never have imagined. Have you ever felt the weight of difficult decisions or the uncertainty that challenges your faith? In moments of darkness and doubt, the teachings of Jesus Christ offer an unparalleled light. Imagine facing daily challenges with divine guidance that not only strengthens, but transforms your life in profound and lasting ways. Introducing the practical guide to overcoming daily challenges with the teachings of Jesus. This guide is not just a read, it's a source of spiritual power that can change your life. Discover how to apply Jesus' timeless teachings to real-life situations, finding solutions that go beyond the superficial. Now is the time to strengthen your faith and experience the peace that only Jesus can bring. Don't miss this unique opportunity for transformation. Click the link below and let the wisdom of Jesus guide every aspect of your life, bringing clarity, hope, and renewed confidence for the future. Samson, a man marked by grand victories and painful losses, now finds himself in the valley of Sorek, where his heart is captured by Delilah, a woman whose beauty and charm mask dangerous intentions. Have you ever felt irresistibly drawn to someone, even knowing that this attraction might lead to your downfall? For Samson, Delilah embodied this personified temptation. Drawn to her allure, Samson succumbs to love, a love that makes him vulnerable in ways no previous battle ever did. Delilah, bribed by the Philistine leaders, is determined to uncover the secret of his strength. Imagine the mounting tension as she questions him repeatedly, getting closer to the truth, with each probing, more determined to achieve her goal. Initially, Samson toys with Delilah, providing false answers about the source of his strength. However, the persistent pressure and seduction from Delilah begin to wear down his defenses. At his core, there is an internal conflict, the struggle between keeping his secret and yielding to the woman he loves. Who among us does not know this battle between reason and heart? Finally, after many attempts, Samson reveals the truth. His strength lies in his hair, which has never been cut. Delilah, seeing victory within reach, waits for the right moment. While Samson sleeps, she calls a man to cut his locks, and with each strand that falls, Samson's strength fades. The invincible hero becomes vulnerable, captured by love and betrayal. As Samson awakens to face his new reality of weakness and captivity, the plot thickens. Delilah's betrayal marks the beginning of a new phase in his life, one of humiliation and pain. Stripped of his strength, Samson finds himself at the mercy of his enemies. The Philistines, seizing his vulnerability, capture him and take him to Gaza. There, he endures terrible humiliation. His eyes are gouged out, leaving him blind and defenseless. Imagine the physical and emotional pain of a man who once prided himself on his strength and invincibility, now reduced to complete helplessness. Samson, once a symbol of power, is now a prisoner, forced to grind grain in the prison, a demeaning and degrading task. The Philistines celebrate his capture, believing they have finally subdued their greatest enemy. The darkness Samson faces is not just the absence of sight, but also the loss of purpose and identity. Yet even amidst such profound humiliation, something begins to change. Over time, Samson's hair, a symbol of his strength, starts to grow back. This growth is a sign of hope, a harbinger that his story is not yet over. The faith that seemed crushed begins to resurface, slowly, with each growing strand of hair. As the Philistines prepare for a grand celebration in honor of their god Dagon, bringing Samson out to entertain the crowd, the stage is set for a final confrontation. Samson, now blind and humiliated, faces the greatest test of his life. He is brought to the temple of Dagon, where thousands of Philistines gather to celebrate their victory. Guided by a young servant, Samson asks to be placed between the main columns supporting the temple. His apparent vulnerability conceals a final spark of strength and determination. Feeling the weight of the columns in his hands, Samson begins to pray silently. He cries out to God for strength one last time, not for his own glory, but to avenge his eyes and to free his people from Philistine oppression. The crowd, unaware of what is about to happen, continues to mock and celebrate. But within Samson, a resolution solidifies. With a titanic effort, he pushes against the columns with all the strength he has left. Imagine the deafening sound of stones cracking, the shock on the faces of the Philistines as they realize what is happening. The entire temple begins to collapse, in a spectacle of destruction that reverberates like thunder. Samson, in his final act, brings down the temple, killing more Philistines in his death than he did throughout his life. This final sacrifice, an act of redemption and revenge, marks the end of his earthly journey. Samson's life is a roller coaster of triumphs and failures, moments of glory and deep humiliation. He shows us that even the strongest among us have weaknesses, that the temptations of the heart can bring us down, but also that faith and determination can lift us up again, even in the darkest times. Samson was far from perfect. He was impulsive, vulnerable to his passions, and often driven by pride. Yet it was this imperfection that made him human and made his story resonate so deeply with us, because ultimately each of us carries within the strength to overcome our challenges and the capacity to find redemption, no matter how lost we may feel.